The strength of this nation we call the United States of America was built on the tenacity and true grit of a strong military. Take a moment, look at the stars and stripes of the American flag, and never ever forget those who sacrificed their future for your freedom. American Tire and Automotive salutes the United States of America and its military. Their spirit and dedication guarantee our freedoms. God has truly blessed America.
In Birmingham, I figured out number 17 for me, and hopefully be number 18 next year. But anyway, we're looking forward to another football season at the University of South Carolina. We've had a lot of changes since last year. We fizzled out toward the end. We got sort of beat thoroughly our last 3 games to finish 7-6. And we felt like we needed to make some changes somehow. A few coaches left on their own, a few were asked to leave, and we ended up with a new strength conditioning coach and 5 new assistant coaches. Our coordinators are still there, but we've had a change in the way we do things, and hopefully it'll prove beneficial for us when the season starts. Our quarterback, Stephen Garcia, has made it through spring practice and looks like he's going to make it through summer workouts. And if we're to have a big year, obviously he's got to play very well. So we're looking forward to the year. Got excellent leadership on the team. Attitude's very good right now. And we should be a better team this year than we finished up last year. Simple as that. At South Carolina, he may have potentially the most ability, but until he uses it and plays extremely well, we'll sort of hold off on singing his praises right now. I think the biggest thing Stephen has finally learned is that he needs to learn how to play the game. He needs to learn where all of his receivers are going and the defense is and decision making and so forth. But he can make the throws, he can dodge some guys, he can run a bit, and certainly nowadays your quarterback's got to be somewhat of a runner, and he can do that. So we'll start singing his praises when he leads us down the field for some come-from-behind victories. That's what we need that at South Carolina.
Fans are not realistic.
We thought we could have put it together quicker, but we haven't. And the most encouraging part of South Carolina football was our recruiting this past year. Even though we fizzled at the end of the year, we did not lose any committed players, and we actually went out and got 2 or 3 more. The recruiting was ranked around 11th, 12th in the country by most of the services, and some people think it may turn out to be one of our best ever there, but time will tell. We had 3 young guys that came in, graduated early from high school. Stephon Gilmore, the player of the year in the state of South Carolina. He's got a great chance of starting at defensive corner for us this year. Played quarterback in high school. Vontae Holloman, strong safety, outside linebacker, also went to the same school as Stephon, and he will play a lot this year. And then Jarvis Giles, a tailback from Tampa, came in early and had a good spring, and maybe gives us an elusive, all the way game-breaking type running back. So those are 3 guys that came in early that look like they're going to play a lot this year, and the rest of the freshman class are there now, and we think we got a good bunch of guys. Some coach made a mistake or a careless mistake in not putting Tim Tebow on that ballot. Tim Tebow is obviously the best quarterback in this league. I think he's the best in the country. He's probably the best football player in the country. And I see Tim Tebow and Danny Warfel, when history plays it out, I think those 2 guys may be the best 2 quarterbacks to ever play college football. Tim Tebow and Danny Warfel. They're so much alike, such wonderful young men. They live the Christian life. They don't just talk it, they live it. And they're so much alike as individuals. On the field, they're a little differently, of course, but 2 tremendous leaders, great young men, and you got to admire and respect everything about Tim Tebow. let me tell you what's happened since Tim Tebow is now a unanimous selection. I learned today that coach that made a mistake in his selection or whatever happened has now put Tim Tebow in there. That was me. You're right. We had a. That was me. Tell you what. Now I was going to try to explain it to the media guys out there once, but now that it's obviously come up, I obviously don't fill out the preseason All-SEC thing. I don't fill it out. My director of operations filled it out this year. I glanced at it. I saw A.J. Green. I saw Carlos. Yeah, it looks good. So when all this broke yesterday morning, I'm driving in, and I called him. And I said, now, certainly we had Tim Tebow as the first quarterback, didn't we? And then there was a little pause. I said, well, it's my fault. It's my fault. I glanced at it, but I didn't look at it. And I certainly can't tell you who we put at left guard or right tackle or tight end or linebacker. I don't know the guys. But we all know Tim Tebow's the best. And I said, why in the world did you not put in? He said something about we already had 10 Gators. I said, that's a bad reason. Yeah. So I'll take the blame. And I called Charlie Bloom, and I said, can South Carolina change their selection? I did not write in Jevin Sneed, but that was who we sent in. And he said, yeah. So it's been changed, and it's unanimous. And I'm embarrassed it happened, but that's the way it's happened. It happened about 3 weeks ago. So I'll say that probably about 20 more times. But that's the way it happened. And I feel badly about it. I really do, because Tim Tebow is definitely the best. He's the best. Play a tough schedule. When you're sort of the middle of the division type team, and that's what we've been. Somebody, I think Steve Fink, our sports information director, said we were picked fourth in the Eastern Division for the 7th year in a row, behind Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and then there's South Carolina, and that's where we've been picked. So we're trying to get in that top echelon, and we play a tough schedule. Out of conference, we got NC State and Clemson. 2 very good ACC teams. So that's just the way it is, and you got to go play it, see what happens. But we should have a team that's ready to compete with everyone.